Alright, so you've seen a lot of videos on YouTube, a lot of how-to videos of how to build a computer properly. I'm going to show you a how to not build your computer video. So, whenever you're building a computer, the first thing is you're going to mount probably your motherboard to the computer case. In that case, there are little razors that go onto the case to keep the motherboard off of the metal to keep it from shorting out. In this case, I think those would just be a waste of space. We're going to take those out. Perfect. So now we're left with a nice, flush metal surface to mount our electrical motherboard to. Here's our motherboard. I'm going to get this put down in. We're going to get this mounted in, and I think we'll just kind of drop it down in there and make sure we can get that lined up. Perfect. Now, in order to mount your motherboard, you'll need to use screws. Now, the screws also will come with a little rubber protector, again to keep electrical current from shorting that out. You should also lightly tighten these in, as you don't want to damage your motherboard. But again, in this case, I think the power drill will do just fine. So we'll go ahead and get a few of these down in there. And I think normally you should have take use of all the mounting holes, but I think in this case we'll just go with 2 of them. See if we can get at least 2 in there. Yeah. Well, the second one doesn't seem to want to go in, so we'll just stay with 1, because I think 1 will be suitable. I'm not really sure where that screw went, but that's fine. The worst that can happen is a screw shorts out the motherboard and fries it. Alright, so the next part is you'd want to get your processor. Now, a processor is a very delicate component, comprised of hundreds of little electrical things. And as you can see, this one's got a few little bent pins on it, but I think it'll be okay. It should still work. Also had some thermal grease on this chip, which I washed off with water, so we should be in good shape. So let's go ahead and put our processor in, which it doesn't seem to fit, probably because that one pin is bent. So, I came prepared for that. We'll go ahead and take care of that. Still doesn't seem to want to go in. At this point, we may need to go with a different plan. I'll be right back. Alright, I had to take the motherboard out because the processor wasn't going in properly. So I think I have a fix now. I've got a C-clamp, and we're just going to go ahead and make sure that processor gets mounted properly in the CPU socket. So here we go. And it's starting to go in there. Just a little bit more. There we go. I think it's in pretty good now. We'll go ahead and lock it into place. There we go. Then we'll go ahead and loosen up so we can go ahead and mount our motherboard back in. There we go. Nice and secure. And we'll go ahead and get that mounted back in. There we go. Alright, I think things are coming along kind of nicely here. Now the next thing would be to mount in our heatsink. Now it's important normally to apply thermal paste to the processor and to the heatsink, but in this case I actually don't have any thermal paste, so I'm just going to go ahead and make sure I get all that wiped off the CPU and the heatsink here. And instead, I found you can actually just go ahead and use a little bit of super glue. So we'll go ahead and apply a little bit of super glue to the processor there. This will make sure it has a nice permanent contact on it. And we'll go ahead and get our CPU cooler mounted in there. And as you can see, it's a nice tight fit. Maybe too tight here. Went in there very nicely. All right, go ahead and plug our CPU fan in. We don't want our CPU getting damaged. All right, it's time for the power supply. All right, so got my power supply. I'm gonna go ahead and sit that in there. Good enough. And we'll take our cable routing, and we need to plug one into the motherboard. So this one right here. And so it's got a, there we go. If it's in, it's in. You know, some people say you need to click it in there all the way. Yeah, whatever works. I also have a old hard drive that something just fell out of. Do that. This one actually has the magnets. Whoops. Magnets actually fell out of it, so I'm just gonna set them here. Should be good. And we'll go ahead and lay the hard drive in there. Hard drive needs to get plugged in. Go ahead and grab that. And we'll get the hard drive plugged in. Perfect. Now, I think we're getting pretty close to being ready. Let me just do a quality check, and then I'll be back and we'll power it on and see what we get. Alright, quality check's complete. Just make sure the CPU is properly mounted into the socket there. Seems to be in there pretty good now. Super glue seems to be holding. It's in there good enough. So, let's go ahead and plug her in. Power supply. A little bit of power here. And you are probably crazy if you think I'm actually going to plug this in. This is the absolute wrong way to put together a computer, and this would probably electrocute me, or at very worst, just, you know, catch fire, something like that. So, this is the wrong way to install a motherboard. I hope that you check out another video to see how to properly install one. Thanks for watching.